Welcome to the 2020 New Testament Challenge. It's Monday, and today we're in Matthew chapter 14. In Matthew chapter 14, two amazing things take place. Jesus feeds 5,000 men, not counting women and children, and Peter walks on water. I'd like to do something different today. I have a story that I'd like to share with you that I believe will be an encouragement to you. I have a good friend, Daryl White, who directed the Crisis Pregnancy Center in Midland, Michigan. It's a pro-life ministry, and so everything that they receive is from donations. A teen one day came to Daryl and said that he'd like to help support the center. Daryl thought to himself, what can a teen really do to make a difference? But he thanked the teen and he said, what would you like to do? And the teen said, I'd like to have a car wash for the center. Again, Daryl thought to himself, that'll be a small donation. But he said to the teen, thank you very much. Tell you what, why don't you get all your friends together, pick a day, and I'll be there. Well, the day came, Daryl was there, and all the teens were ready to go. He called them together and he said, to make today a special day, why don't you pick one day to work for? It takes about $600 a day to support the pregnancy center. And so why don't you pick a day that you're going to work for? They huddled up and they came back to Daryl and said, we would like to work for September the 11th. Why September the 11th, he asked. Because we know, said the teens, that almost 3,000 abortions are performed every day in America. And we know that 3,000 lives were lost on September 11th. We want to help save lives, and so we want to work for that day. Well, Daryl thought that's an amazing desire. The teens worked really hard all day long. At the end of the day, as the teens were cleaning up, the treasurer came to show Daryl how much was raised. He gave him a piece of paper. Daryl looked at it, he looked back at the treasurer, and he said, are you sure about this number? The treasurer said, I've counted it 3 times. Daryl then called all the teens back together, and he said to them, as he looked them right in the eye, what you have done today is going to be a spiritual marker for every one of you. Your desire was to help save lives. God has heard your desire, and he has answered in a profound way. Today, you raised $911. All the teens were quiet, and then they stood up and they jumped up and they were shouting. They were so excited. They couldn't believe what had happened. That's not the end of the story, though, because the newspaper heard about it. They did a story. And then from all over the town, people were sending in donations to the pregnancy center. The radio station then wanted to do an interview with Daryl. And while they were doing the interview, people were calling in saying that they would like to support the center. What Daryl first thought was going to be a small donation turned out to be a major fundraising event for them that year. Here's what God wants us to know. Nothing is insignificant when you give it to him. If you give it to him, God can take little and make much out of it. And when we step out in faith, amazing things can happen. That's what God wants to do in all of our lives. Trust him with the little things, and then God will do great things with it. Step out in faith, and anything can happen. Thank you so much for joining the 2020 New Testament Challenge.